National Lampoon's Vacation, sometimes referred to as Vacation, is a 1983 Technicolor comedy film directed by Harold Ramis and starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid, Dana Barron, and Anthony Michael Hall. John Candy, Imogene Coca, Christie Brinkley, and Jane Krakowski appear in supporting roles. The screenplay was written by John Hughes, based on his short story Vacation 58, which appeared in National Lampoon. The original story is a fictionalized account of his own family's ill-fated trip to Disneyland when Hughes was a boy. The success of the film helped advance his screenwriting career. The film was a box office hit, earning more than $61 million in the U.S. with an estimated budget of $15 million. In 2000, readers of Total Film voted it the 46th greatest comedy film of all time. It is widely considered to be the best film in the Vacation series, and continues to be a cult film and a staple on cable television. It also currently holds a 94% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Plot: Clark Griswold, wanting to spend more time with his wife Ellen and children Rusty and Audrey, decides to lead the family on a cross-country expedition from the Chicago area to the Los Angeles amusement park Wally World, billed as America's favorite family fun park. Ellen wants to fly, but Clark insists on driving, so he can bond with his family. In preparation, he has ordered a new sports wagon for the trip, but the dealer claims the sports wagon will not be ready for 6 weeks. Clark is forced to accept a Wagon Queen family truckster, an outsized station wagon. As the family travels, they run into numerous mishaps, such as being tagged by vandals in a run-down area of St. Louis, while Clark is tempted numerous times by an attractive young woman driving a flashy red Ferrari 308 GTS. They stop in Kansas to visit Ellen's cousin Catherine and her husband Eddie, who foist Aunt Edna and her dog Dinky on the Griswolds, asking them to drop her off at her son's home in Phoenix. After stopping at a campground in Colorado for the night, Clark forgets to untie Dinky from the bumper before leaving, killing the dog. While Ellen and Clark argue, they become stranded in the desert, and Clark eventually finds a mechanic that scams him out of the rest of his cash to fix the car. Frustrated, they stop at the Grand Canyon. When Clark cannot convince a hotel clerk to take a check, he takes cash from the cash register and leaves the check. Leaving the canyon, they find that Aunt Edna died in her sleep. When they reach Normie's home, they discover he is out of town, and leave Edna's body in the backyard. Despite all the events and the begging of Ellen and the kids, Clark is more determined to get to Wally World. They finally arrive the next day to find the park closed for repairs. Clark, slipping into madness realizing that all his efforts have been for nothing, buys a realistic-looking BB gun pistol and demands a park security guard named Russ Lasky to take them through the park at gunpoint. Ellen and kids follow him, attempting to placate their husband and father. Eventually a SWAT team arrives along with park owner Roy Wally. Roy understands Clark's impassioned epitome of the American vacation, bringing back memories of his own childhood years ago. Roy does not file charges against the Griswolds and lets the family and the SWAT team enjoy the park as his guests. The ending credits show various pictures of the Griswolds' vacation, including how they got home, on a plane. Cast: Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold, Beverly D'Angelo as Ellen Griswold, Imogene Coca as Aunt Edna, Anthony Michael Hall as Russell Rusty Griswold, Dana Barron as Audrey Griswold, Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie, Christie Brinkley as the girl in red Ferrari, John Candy as Russ Lasky, Eddie Bracken as Roy Wally, Brian Doyle Murray as Camp Comfort Clark, Miriam Flynn as Cousin Catherine, James Keach as Motorcycle Cop, Eugene Levy as Ed the car salesman, Frank McRae as Grover, Jane Krakowski as Cousin Vicky, John P. Navin, Jr. as Cousin Dale, Nathan Cook as Man giving directions, Mickey Jones as Mechanic, John Deal as Assistant Mechanic, Michael Talbot as Cowboy. Production: Wally World. In John Hughes' original short story, the theme park was Disneyland. Because of this, all of the names were altered to sound alikes. Walt Disney's Disneyland became Wally World, itself a good-natured parody of the Anaheim location. The name of the mascot, Marty Moose, is reminiscent of Disney's Mickey Mouse. Wagon Queen Family Truckster. The Wagon Queen Family Truckster station wagon was created specifically for the film. The Truckster is based on a 1979 Ford Limited Country Squire station wagon and heavily modified. The car was designed by George Barris, and lampooned American cars of the late 1970s. The Truckster features a pea green paint scheme, fake wood paneling, 8 headlights, 4 on each side in a rectangular cluster. A grille area largely covered by bodywork having only 2 small openings close to the bumper. Music. The film's music was composed by Ralph Burns, featuring original songs by Lindsey Buckingham. A soundtrack album was released in 1983. While it did not chart, Buckingham's single Holiday Road reached number 82 on the Billboard Hot 100. Holiday Road Lindsey Buckingham, Mr. Blue The Fleetwoods, Blitzkrieg Bop Ramones, Deep River Blues Ralph Burns, Summer Hearts Nicolette Larson, Little Boy Sweet June Pointer, The Trip Ralph Burns, He's So Dull Vanity 6, Christie's Song Ralph Burns, Dancing Across the USA Lindsey Buckingham. Sequels. National Lampoon's Vacation spawned a number of sequels. National Lampoon's European Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Vegas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, Hotel Hell Vacation, with the exception of Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. Each sequel saw Chase and D'Angelo reprise their roles as Clark and Ellen Griswold, enduring their unique and unenviable brand of vacation misadventure in various locales. However, the children Rusty and Audrey are played by a different set of actors in each film. In July 2013, Barron explained that because Hall was committed to shooting Weird Science, European Vacation director Amy Heckerling requested both Griswold children be recast. This fact is joked about early in Vegas Vacation. When we first see the kids again, Clark tells them that he hardly recognizes them anymore. The various actors were Anthony Michael Hall and Dana Barron in Vacation, Jason Lively and Dana Hill in European Vacation, Johnny Galecki and Juliette Lewis in Christmas Vacation, and Ethan Embry and Marisol Nichols in Vegas Vacation. Barron again plays Audrey in Christmas Vacation 2, but Rusty, like his parents, could not make it for Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, an NBC TV movie. However, Flynn and Quaid reprised their roles as cousins Catherine and Eddie, as they did in each film aside from European Vacation. Christie Brinkley reprised her role as the girl in the red Ferrari in Vegas Vacation and later spoofed it in a 2008 direct commercial interspliced with footage from Vacation, recreating the famous swimming pool scene. Each sequel also manages to reference Wally World in some way. In July 2012, it was announced that Ed Helms would star as Rusty Griswold in the upcoming film, New Vacation. The new version of the Vacation adventures will follow Rusty, who now has his own family misadventures on the road. John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein will write and direct the film. It is currently unknown if Chevy Chase or Beverly D'Angelo will reprise their roles in the new film or if any of the other cast members from past films will appear. The remake was postponed indefinitely due to creative differences. Legacy, Home Away, Incorporated hired Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo to reprise their roles once again in an advertisement campaign to be aired during Super Bowl XLIV. References, Notes. External links. National Lampoon's Vacation at the Internet Movie Database, National Lampoon's Vacation at All Movie, National Lampoon's Vacation at the TCM Movie Database, National Lampoon's Vacation at the American Film Institute Catalog, National Lampoon's Vacation at Rotten Tomatoes, National Lampoon's Vacation at the 80s Movie Gateway, Vacation 58 by John Hughes.